Did you know that dogs have a sixth sense for Earth's magnetic field? I didn't know that. Recent studies have found that dogs prefer to align themselves along the north-south axis of Earth's magnetic field when they're doing their business. Some scientists believe this sensitivity might even help them navigate and find their way home. Well, I don't know what I'm doing when I'm going to the bathroom, so let's leave it up to the dogs. They've got a great sense.
I know. I say I get lost in the shower. I have a great little story real quick. I actually did tracking with a friend who their dogs track things. And so she was like, I want you to be the person that we're going to go find. So you're going to go here, go around this tree and end up right there. And I was like, got it.
I'm already lost listening.
I ended up 2 houses away in someone's deer blind. And she texted me like, where are you? Like, where are you? We can't find you. I was like, I'm here. And I sent a picture. She's like, you should not be there. I was like, oh no.
Oh, gosh.
I have a terrible, terrible sense of direction.
Yeah. Well, apparently our dogs are better than us.
And with that being said, with no sense of direction, we do have a sense of direction for our show today. So we're so excited to be here and welcome to the Dog Moms.
Dog moms, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Dog moms.
Dog moms, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Dog moms.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Tail Wagging episode of The Dog Moms. I am your co-host, Amber. And
I am Chrissy. We're so excited that you're tuning in with us today. We've got an episode that is not just bark worthy, it's absolutely howl worthy, don't we think, Amber?
That's right. You better believe it, Chrissy. Today's show is going to be positively amazing because we're diving. Oakley, my dog is digging. He's so excited. All right. So, Oakley, stop.
What is he doing? Oh my goodness.
Stop. Today's show is going to be positively amazing because we're diving into the world of dogs that defy all odds. And we have a very special guest to help us do just that.
Oh my gosh, yes. And we have the incredible Melissa joining us, the proud owner of Pink Piglet Puppy. That's right. You know, the adorable pup that's taken social media by storm? If you haven't, you're about to find out.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't heard, Pink Piglet Puppy is a dog like no other. He's deaf and blind, but his spirit and energy are absolutely contagious. Melissa's going to give us a behind-the-scenes look at the life of this extraordinary pup and how he has changed the lives for other people around the world.
I can't wait to hear more about Piglet's story and go from the puppy parenting challenges to the rewarding moments that make it all worth it. It's going to be a roller coaster of emotions, I already know. And after our interview, we also have questions from you that we're going to be answering from our amazing listeners. Thank you. But first, as always, I want to catch up because I want to know, Amber, please tell us all, how is Riley doing?
Oh my goodness, it's so weird. I'm not just a dog mom anymore. I'm also a little human mom. And just thinking about him makes me like all giddy, which is so fun. He's doing great, knock on wood. He's a really great baby. Maybe it's because I'm a dog trainer. Maybe the training is working on the child. I don't know.
I used to use Cheerios. Is that terrible?
I mean, hey, it's working out pretty well so far. But no, he's doing great. And I had a really great time introducing the dogs and cats to him. It's just been really, really fun. Seeing them have a relationship with him too is really cute. So it's going great. It's really weird.
Are you getting sleep? I mean, is there some moments that you're like, it's tough? Like I remember, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be honest, guys. Like I have a daughter, she's 6 now, but like, man, when she first came home, yes, it was like so many bright and cheery moments, but like, girl, I was crying. Like,
for sure.
I dealt with a lot of, like, I remember bawling my eyes out. This is going to be like a true dog mom moment. I bawled my eyes out because I couldn't open the sliding door for my dog. Like, because I had a C-section and I couldn't open the sliding door. And that frustrated me so much that I couldn't just get up and do that.
Yeah, so it's definitely been an adjustment for sure. There's been some great moments. There's been some moments where I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm going crazy.
It's hard.
It's been really difficult. And, you know, I have 3 dogs and 2 cats. And so I've got a lot of like little beings depending on me. And that can be a lot of pressure. And it's a lot of work too. Thankfully, my husband has been incredibly helpful and he does so much. And it's kind of funny because my husband has taken over feeding routine with all the animals. And so they don't even come to me to ask for it anymore. And it's like kind of a relief, but kind of like, what the heck? So
Yeah,
and he has his own routine with them, and so now they have a routine with him too, which is just weird. But that's been a really great blessing, is that he's been able to help out with that side.
And
of
you
being
also
a
did
dog
some
mom.
preparing though. You prepared for this. I remember you telling me
Yes.
like, hey, I'm trying to get them used to not doing as much right now. I'm trying to give them more time where they can learn to just be, because like that's what's going to happen
Absolutely.
at least the first,
Yeah, and I've been
6 to 8
doing my
weeks.
best to like get out with them, but they haven't been getting nearly as much obviously activity or anything. So
They will.
it's been an adjustment, but they're being very great and very patient, and so I'm really glad that the dogs have just adjusted the way that they have. But
I call this the rest period until Riley learns to walk, and then they're never going to sleep again because he's going
I
to be
know.
all over the
At
place.
least I think they're looking forward to when he'll start dropping food all over the floor. That's what they're going to
Yes.
love the most.
Oh my gosh. Beasley literally tries to clean her table. We have to watch him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, my dogs love like the toddler stage when kids are messy and they leave all their food everywhere. But
Yeah.
I know we have an amazing guest to get to, and believe me, we'll talk more about Riley and all the little dogs and cats soon. But I think we should jump over to that episode. So guys, go ahead, grab your coffee or your tea. Let's get ready and get comfy for this amazing episode where we get to talk to Melissa about little Pink Piglet Puppy. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you and your whole amazing pet crew with us. How are you doing today? We're so excited to have you.
We're fine and very excited to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. So I want to just get right into it because you have such an amazing story and so many animals to talk about. Can you start off by telling us your whole mission of what you started and how you first met Piglet?
Oh, I can. That is a very long story. You probably don't want to hear the whole thing, but I do have a book that describes the whole thing in detail. But I will tell you in brief. I am a veterinarian, a small animal vet, and years before Piglet, we adopted a dog, a double meral Aussie Border Collie mix, from a dog rescue down in Georgia. And I was always very partial to the disabled ones and the medically complex ones to have in our house. So she came, Gina was she still is. She's 13. A double meral Aussie Border Collie mix. She was deaf in one ear. And that kind of introduced me into double merals. That's why I'm telling you this first. But I also connected with the vet who runs the rescue down in Georgia. And she, we ended up becoming friends, and she would bring dogs up here twice a year for dog adoption events until COVID hit. And I would help her at the adoption event, doing exams for all of the dogs coming into the state, as well as follow-ups for medical needs of dogs that were adopted up in Connecticut. So skip to a few years later, she sent me a note and said that she had a little blind and most likely deaf, tiny 1 pound puppy who was
1 pound
double dapple, which is the same as double merle.
Right.
And did I know someone who would be a good fit for him? He would be a special placement. So I was probably sitting right here and I was thinking, actually I was in the kitchen and I said, I can't. No, we have 6 dogs. We're not having any more dogs, but maybe I should foster. So I said no to myself. And then I said, I think we should foster him. And I sent Warren a note, who's my husband, and we ended up fostering him. And once he came up here, he was very anxious and screamed all the time. We ended up, it became a full-time job for me on top of my full-time vet job.
Wow, I bet.
And ultimately, of course, obviously we kept him because he settled in, and we fell in love with him. We sort of felt devoted to him. And when we did decide to adopt him, I said he would have a productive, meaningful life. I promised myself, because I did not need another lap dog.
Right.
And here we started with Piglet, and that was in March of 2017.
Wow.
May is when we decided he would stay. It took me 2 months.
Wow.
And so from there, I can tell you more about his, what ended up happening.
I think before we get into the story, just in case our listeners aren't aware, I'm really familiar with double merals and like what happens to dogs, but would you mind explaining that a little bit for people who are listening they don't know what double meral means?
So double meral means if you think about herding breeds, dachshunds, Chihuahuas, now unfortunately in bulldogs, Great Danes, there's a marbling color pattern that some of them have. So there's solid colors, black, tan, white. Great Danes, maybe black and white, whatever. But then there's this marbling color. So everyone loves it. And it's meral or dapple in the dachshund and those smaller breeds, and harlequin and Great Danes. When both parents have that color pattern, and it can be very hard to tell sometimes. Sometimes if there are breeders breeding herding breeds especially, they need to do DNA testing. Lovely.
They all want to say in the podcast too.
They do. They say it's our turn to talk. It's our turn. And I think a lot of times they can even be ghost merles, where like they don't look like they're merle, but they are.
Yeah. So my dog Tucker, he looks like a red tri, but he's actually a merle, and you would
I would have never known.
If you look at his ear, he's got little spots. So yeah, a lot of times you wouldn't know that they're actually a merle unless you do testing or
DNA testing.
Like very, very
you have
particular.
to do DNA testing to know if they're merle. If you are intentionally doing this, but a lot of times it gets unintentionally done, so that you have if both parents
they're like,
hey, this is the
we're
Dog
part
Mom
of the
podcast.
show. We're part of the show.
For a reason, it's the Dog Mom podcast. All of my dogs are.
My dogs were just barking a second ago. They ran outside.
I would say they're being quiet for right this second, so we'll see how they feel in a minute.
It's so true. They're like, we have to protect you, mother. But I think, I have merles. I mean, I have them. I do. And you have to be so careful, like, if you're considering breeding or not, but like just even the breeds themselves, you have to be careful even taking them to the vet. Because if DNA testing offers like you more information, even when you just go to the vet, because there's certain anesthesia that certain breeds shouldn't be under. So like there is such a benefit, whether it's a dog, you're like, oh, I'm going to breed him or not breed him. It's just good information to have on hand to do that.
Okay. He's helping me, so he brought Piglet out so they could all bark at him.
Got it.
I thought that it was safe with them in here, because otherwise they're at the door now barking.
Right. Okay. No worries. They're fine.
Okay.
That's okay. We're going to catch up right where we left off.
So when two merle dogs are bred, either accidentally or intentionally, there's a 25% chance that each puppy will receive the dominant merle, dapple, or harlequin, whatever your breed is, gene. When both parents give that dominant gene to the puppy, which is a 25% chance for each puppy.
Wow.
It's called double merle or double dapple, and it is linked to a white hair coat and ear and eye defects.
Got it.
So,
yeah. Which creates a lot of tough time taking on a dog like that and providing a home for them. I mean, you really have to change your whole lifestyle to be able to.
I mean, first of all, they're not all deaf and blind.
Mm-hmm.
Some are blind, some are deaf, some can see out of one eye, but not the other. Some are deaf in one ear, and some can see and hear, and you wouldn't even know that they had a problem.
Right.
But so it's not all turning into deaf and blind dogs. Right. And having a deaf and blind dog is not quite as complicated as you would think, depending on the dog.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people think that that's probably something that's like incredibly difficult. But are there some challenges that you have come across that you learned to kind of work through, especially like jumping from a dog that was deaf in one ear to a dog that is blind and deaf? I'm sure that was a lot of learning for you as well.
Gosh, yeah, I can't even imagine.
First of all, the dog, I grew up with a blind dog. The dog that is deaf in one ear had severe anxiety because that they can't play sound when they're deaf in only one ear, unilateral deafness. So that she would hear noises but wouldn't know where they were coming from. Mm-hmm. So she had her own set of issues. She was also terribly abused when she was down in Georgia before she came up here. So she was a lot of work to start with. But she could see. I didn't have to worry about her falling down the stairs. She's also
thank goodness.
Going from her to Piglet, who was 1.5 pounds to start with. Obviously, safety was the most important priority.
I mean, even just walking around the house with a dog like that is kind of terrifying.
Well, our house is very small.
Like a bell, like you put a little bell on her or something.
Well, there's not a lot. I mean, I had him enclosed, and then we would watch him. So obviously, we didn't just let him loose.
Of course.
So he did eventually learn to walk up the stairs, and you would be shocked at how a dog like that can learn to map an area. They, and I say learn too, because they are instinctively wanting to know where they are,
Yeah.
obviously, but I think that there's a learning curve for a deaf and blind dog to figure out how to use his other senses, his nose and his sense of touch, to then optimize those senses in connecting with their environment and with other people. So in his case, Piglet, he came in and he learned to smell people's breath, and that's how he recognized people, and that's how he either liked them or didn't like them, and knew who they were. He also learned very quickly where everything was in our house, and I really did wonder in the beginning whether he would be one of those dogs that would just know where they are when we would go different places that he had been to before, and in fact, he is.
Wow.
I give one example in the book, and I talk about all the time. We took him up to Vermont when he was, it was in, I think, August or September that first year. He was born in January, so he was not a year old yet. And we walked down the street. And he did take walks, and now he doesn't take walks because he sniffs and stops.
Oh.
But he walked down the street, and I took him down the driveway and down the street. One when we came back, he knew where the driveway was because he could smell
that's
where
amazing.
he had come out. Whereas
That's
my
so
other
true.
dogs were going to walk past the driveway because they weren't paying attention at all.
Right.
He knew where the driveway was, and that is how he is. And he has honed those skills. It's not that he has better nose, a better sense of touch than another dog. He just knows
more
how
in
to
tune.
use them because that's how he sees his world and how he experiences his world and takes in the input in, a much more limited way. But he learned, and he is who he is. I now have another one, Georgie, who's sitting on my lap.
Yeah.
He's a completely different dog, has a completely different approach to his, he doesn't know he has issues, but to his life and his, and engaging with his world around him. He's much more laid back. Piglet is meticulous about every little thing, every little detail.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's like personality as well.
Yeah.
Like it's not just
breed also related because he has dachshund and he's a sniffing dog. This dog, Georgie, does not have any dachshund in him, so he's less nose-oriented.
Okay.
Wow.
But he is definitely, he's got his own...
A big personality.
He's amazing. Yeah, he's really amazing.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chrissy.
That's okay. I'm just excited to see kind of the journey that began here. And obviously, there's so much care and love and TLC that goes to it. But Piglet's become more than just your pet and a pet that means a lot to you. Piglet's changed the lives of people and has opened the door to education. Can you tell us a little bit about like how that journey started for you? How that kind of light bulb went off, and then, you opened the door to sharing the story with everyone else.
Well, you know how certain things happen to you and you really don't expect them.
Yeah, totally.
That's the case here. And I always say, sometimes saying yes when your gut says no is a very good idea, which it was in this case. I did judge right. But Piglet, when I did decide we were going to adopt him, I promised myself Piglet would have a productive, meaningful life. And what I thought that meant then, and that was right in the very beginning, and I had already started building a Facebook page because I was trying to find a home for him, that he would raise money for dog rescues, and primarily those who focused on disabled dogs. So my first bit of merchandise was this phone case wallet. This one was ripped up because it's very old. I have to put another one on. I only have 2 left. But I sold hundreds of those, and I raised $1,200. They were $4 each. I sent them all around the world. It was ridiculous because I did it all myself on pieces of paper. I didn't even use a computer.
Oh my gosh.
So I thought that's what it was going to be. I moved on to magnets and then shirts, and I was doing all this. I got him a dodo video, which was very helpful. But as all that was happening to increase awareness of disabled dogs, a teacher left a comment on one of our Facebook posts saying, I can't wait to show Piglet's videos to my students. And I didn't know why. She didn't say why. And I happened to see the comment because I read all the comments then.
Yeah.
So I sent her a comment back and I said, I'll make you your own video. Why don't, for your students, a personal video, personalized, and why don't you email me and then we can connect? So she did. Wow. And I didn't know how to make a video then, so there was no video, but I made a PowerPoint presentation that was called The Story of Piglet, the Deafblind Pink Puppy. And that still stands. It has been updated just a tiny bit, but that was the founding PowerPoint
Wow.
of our Piglet Mindset education program. So she
That's
called
incredible.
it Piglet Mindset because she was going to teach her children, her students, about growth mindset using Piglet as an example and a role model for the kids, because Piglet has a growth mindset. He faces his challenges in a positive way. He's perseverant, resilient, flexible. He is an optimistic dog, and he I don't know that he's empathetic, but he does bring empathy out of people.
Wow.
And
That's right.
meet him and learn about him. So that's what he was. And it was the most life-changing moment that my daughter kept saying, get off of Facebook. And I'm so happy that I read all those comments, or this would never, ever have happened.
That's right.
And it has now grown to be probably, I think, 8 PowerPoints online, which are the base of the program. There's an activities collection that cover, we talk about the 5 senses, also, being positive and having a positive attitude towards challenges, being resilient, and all those things. But it also evolved through talking to other teachers into an inclusion curriculum.
Wow.
Because at that time we had 6 dogs plus Piglet, and they all brought him in with great kindness and acceptance, even though he was very different than him. So he and they became an example for inclusion. So
that's a big lesson for children, for sure, because they see different and they don't know how to process different.
Right.
And so, the kids really, really relate to the dogs, obviously.
Yeah. And I feel like with it being a dog, it's so much easier for kids to like understand and grasp it, rather than being like, look, this kid is different, or someone acts differently than you.
They integrate those lessons that they have from the dog into real life in their classrooms with other students. And I have a lot of teachers. I don't know how many teachers use the program across the country, because a lot of times they'll call me, they'll send me, 3 years later, say, I've been using your program, but now I realize that you can send me stickers. You'll send me stickers for my students.
Yeah.
You'll do a visit. So I send, so the program is online and it's free for teachers to download. The kids, depending on the teacher, it might be used through the PTA for the whole school, and then we do an in-person visit. Maybe a teacher just incorporates it into the whole school year as a theme in their classroom.
Yeah.
And the kids, as I said, they do love hearing about the dog, and not only because of his approach to his life, of the growth mindset and inclusion, but also they want to know about how he does it. How does he know which dog is which? Which is his favorite friend? Where does he sleep at night?
How does he know how to get there? Yeah.
And they ask all of these questions when I visit with them, either virtually or in person. And it is amazingly fun.
Wow.
But also very rewarding to see a dog that was meant to be in the street, obviously dumb,
right.
turn into this real inspiration,
advocate.
Not only for the kids, but on our pages. I have people sending me notes telling me that, they get up in the morning with their cancer diagnosis, or their orthopedic issues, or their mental illness because of Piglet.
Wow,
and
that's
also
huge.
Very motivating.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I mean, you're impacting more than just what you would have ever considered, even just like having that, free download that you created. The scope of it has grown so much, because it's a relatable topic. It can be relatable on, it doesn't have to just be physical. There's also mental, like having something come into your life.
Yeah, it is one of these things that you can only not plan. It can only just happen.
That's right.
I couldn't say, I'm going to go get a dog and use him as an education tool.
I hear ya. I mean, did you ever think your life would be this now? It's taken such a turn.
No, because I'm a veterinarian, and I was actually trying to figure out what in the world I was going to do as I'm getting older, and I can't crawl around on the floor anymore.
Right.
So I end up, a few things happen. I'm pulling these things out here, but I go to schools, as I said, but even before that, I send the kids Piglet stickers. I have many different stickers. This is Piglet's Inclusion Pack membership card, which on the back is a list of what the requirements are to be in Piglet's Inclusion Pack, which are facing challenges with positive attitude, accepting others for who they are, including others despite their difference, showing empathy and compassion towards others, and always being kind and considerate to all.
I love that.
There's a little place for the kids to sign, and this is our original pack of 7.
That is the cutest idea ever. Oh my goodness.
And then, of course, I have this book, which is the memoir that I got to write, because Thankfully, I was on NBC Nightly News, and actually I was in People Magazine. Piglet was, and I was with him, and then we were on the news, and then a publisher, an editor.
Oh, that's great! See, you never would have had. Piglet comes home.
How cute!
I need to get that from my daughter. Look at Piglet trying to eat it.
This is Georgie, actually, but
Georgie.
I'm ready to play
I can only see the ears. I just see the little.
So
there we go.
But the book has now become part of our program. So teachers read the big book, the memoir, to their students because it's a really nice story about being a veterinarian, lots of animal related stories in there, as well as my family, but also Piglet's story is in there in great detail. And that is, the teachers can edit as they go and really tell the kids the story of Piglet. And then the kids' book is a fictionalized story, which the kids love. And I actually have a book donation program that if teachers are using my program, I will send them a book for their classroom, one book. And then sometimes I'll even send books for the whole class, or depending on the school.
So you get a copy.
175 books up to a school here in Waterbury, Connecticut, for all the kids to have. And it's a very special school. And I went and did a Piglet visit. They did Piglet Mindset with all the kids throughout K through up through I think 8th grade. And it's just you never know who's going to contact me next. I have people with doing special ed, or mainstream. They want to do it for inclusion. They want to teach about animal rescue. I have PowerPoints and presentations that I can come to schools and do many things other than my main Piglet Mindset program. And so I just got a note from a principal yesterday. This is going to be the 3rd year. They only do Piglet Mindset with the first graders. So this is the 3rd year first grade, because one of the teachers wanted to do Piglet Mindset. She told the principal and he liked the idea.
Wow.
So each year now I'm going to talk to
that's so
graders.
special. So do you work with like donations? Is there a place where people can donate if they want to support this?
Yes. Why aren't I saying that? So I have, in 2019, we established a nonprofit called Piglet International Inc., which is a very large name for such a tiny little dog.
I think it's great.
Think about it. We wanted to call it Piglet International. No,
go big or go home, Melissa. Go big or go home.
Yeah, we wanted to call it something like Piglet dot. No, what did we want to? Piglet. Inc. Piglet Inc.
I like the big name for a little dog though, because he obviously has a big impact too.
Yes,
so
it's true.
Big name, big impact for a tiny little dog, which is really
Piglet
cool.
International Inc. And Piglet International Inc. is the base for all donations that go to 3 different things. One is the Piglet Mindset educational program, which, as I described, is online free. We do charge for visits for schools that have a budget, because a lot of them do. And if not, then we fund the visits, depending on our arrangement with the teachers and schools. We also do other events, and we are very generous with other nonprofits. And that leads me to the second part of Piglet International Inc., which is our Piglets Rescue Fund. Every week I donate $500 or more to a dog rescue or other rescue organization. And we're in like the 3rd year now of doing that.
Wow.
But that's the formal Piglets Rescue Fund. Before that, before I had a nonprofit, I sold T-shirts, and this is one of them, one of the recent ones.
I was trying to see what it said. There you go.
Does it say Piglet Mindset? Oh, Piglet Mindset.
But I have sold almost 13,000 shirts and raised over like $140-something thousand.
That's incredible.
In the beginning, all of the money went to dog rescues. Then I started keeping some for my own nonprofit, so I split it out,
Yeah, it's amazing.
Piglets Rescue Fund. And then the other thing I have is the book donation program. So people will donate to that. Last year this last school year, I gave away 800 books.
Wow. Oh, wonderful.
And so this year I hope to give away more. My goal was 1,000, so I didn't reach it.
That's incredible.
It's crazy.
I just can't believe like how this getting this tiny little dog, bringing him home has just completely changed the trajectory of what you're doing and how much of an impact he's having on not only kids and schools, but on special needs dogs too. So with that being said, is there anything on the horizon for you and Piglet that you're hoping to reach, reach certain...
The next goal for Piglet International?
What's the next step for Mr. Piglet and his whole crew?
Piglet, first of all, we have added 2 dogs. We got Lucy a year and a half ago. She has a bad foot, which didn't heal. She was hit by a car in California. So we have Lucy is a disabled dog as well. And then we got Georgie. So Georgie has a growing page, but, Piglet, we have Piglet is at Pink Piglet Puppy on Instagram and Piglet the Deafblind Pink Puppy on Facebook. Georgie has Georgie for FOR fun because Georgie.
I love that.
Fun. So he has his own Instagram page, but I do monthly webinars as a fundraiser for the nonprofit, and I cover topics ranging from senior pet care to pet safety, those kinds of things. Taking care of blind and deaf dogs. I have had guest speakers come on with me. And then Georgie's having his birthday party next month.
Oh, yay.
As a Zoom webinar. And we're going to talk about building a first aid kit, and then he'll have his party. So these kinds of things, this is what I do. But on the horizon, I am trying to, we have just created some documents to market our program further. I have really done no marketing. It's only through word of mouth, social media.
Yeah. Wow. That's
so
great.
I'm trying to market it further to grow it and to reach more people. So if you happen to know anyone or anyone's listening, teachers, educators, anyone who works with kids who wants to talk about being resilient, inclusive, and kind.
I'm thinking about my child's school right now. I mean, I'm like.
And the website is pigletmindset.org. But
so fun.
My real true goal is to do some more touring, and we really want to go out to California. We do need sponsors. I need to figure out how to get 5 dogs to California.
Wow.
I've done it. You just drive the whole way.
Well, I need to have a vehicle that would be more comfortable than
I know. Oh my gosh.
But we are looking for sponsors to help us achieve that goal, because it is very costly, as you know, to travel.
Gas alone.
But along the way, we would want to stop at schools, libraries, and other places. Wow. And then, so California is on the top of the list for the spring, but if we can accomplish that,
right?
We fly, we can get 3. We have to take 5 dogs with us. So
you can maybe rent one of those RVs. You can rent an RV. Well, that might be fun.
Have like the pink. Make sure it's pink and travel
across the city. Yes.
I was actually trying to raise money for a van, but people didn't like that. They thought the money should go to dog rescues. So.
Got it. Well, renting an RV, they're not too bad, but yeah, it does.
It is what it is.
It does kind of get expensive. We drove out for AGT, and it was a long drive and a lot of gas.
Well, we did do a tour last year out to Denver, because I went with my daughter to bring her to Denver, where she lives now. So we did a book tour out and back, and it was also 110 degrees in July. It was
holy cow.
I also thought to hire or ask 3 people to come with us to get out there with 5 dogs. It's Warren and me, and we have 5 dogs we have to bring, and then hire someone to come back with us. And that way we wouldn't have to drive the whole country.
Yeah. It would make sense.
I don't know how that would go.
I know, right? You never know. Well, like you said, your gut tells you no, but you got to just do it.
You got to do it.
This is like, I needed another job. Look at him.
I know. He's such a ham.
And I think, I'm working pretty much full time for my nonprofit now. And I am still a vet part-time.
Wow.
And I have all of my dogs, as you know, take a lot of time to care for.
Yeah.
And and he came in January, which was really unexpected.
Right.
To say the least. I'd like to get a few, maybe some shorter ebooks out, some more informational types of books. And then Georgie will be part of a sequel at some point.
Oh, that sounds great.
That's amazing. I can't wait to see what else you guys do, and I really hope that you're able to find a way to go on tour, and then we can see you guys too. So, thank you.
You're in California, both of you?
Oh no, we're not in California. No. We're here on the East Coast too.
I think we're in California because Rod was talking about Eastern versus Pacific time. Okay.
Oh no, I'm over by DC. We're both by DC.
Okay.
I
also want to go south, and I was thinking to go down to Philadelphia, Baltimore area, and then down to Washington, D.C.
Well, if you go around here, we're going to have to meet you, and I'm sure we could host something really fun in our area for you, probably at a local facility that we know really well.
That's an easy thing because we're 5 hours from Washington.
Oh,
that sounds fun.
Let's make it a plan, because I definitely want to meet. I want to meet the new crew as well.
No, you got to bring them all. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This is such a great wealth of information, but I think it's also such a beautiful message that life will turn you in different directions. You're not sure if that's the direction you should go, but there's so many wonderful things that can come out of it. But what I love the most is that you have really made an impact to celebrate your dog, but also to make an impact on other people. And I feel really strongly about our crazy short time here on earth that we get to be here, that we are able to help the people around us. And I think everything that you're doing is something I really commend. And I really love watching your journey on Instagram.
You guys are such an inspiration, honestly.
So much. Thanks for having
Instagram.
me. You both. And you are on my list because I am going to come to Washington.
Oh,
Yay,
that's great.
Good.
We're
You
here.
gotta let us know. And follow
yes.
Pink Piglet Puppy on Instagram and look for Pink Piglet Puppy on all the other social media as well. Melissa, thank you so much for letting us talk to you all about your crew and even sharing some of them with us today. We hope you have a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see where your endeavors go from here.
Thanks so much to both of you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Melissa. Bye, puppies.
Bye.
Bye.
It was so great talking to Melissa and hearing about Little Piglet, but we do have some questions from our listeners, which we have not seen yet. So let's dive into some of your questions. All right, so the first question says, "Hey, Chrissy and Amber, it's Rachel from New York City." Hi, Rachel. I'd love to hear about the unique ways you both hang out with your dogs. Do you have any special rituals or outings that you think are a huge hit with your four-legged friends?
Oh, that's a good one. I'll kick off if that's okay, Amber.
Go ahead.
All right. So, I think when outings, I think the one thing I love to do is hiking. I love to get out and hike and just let them be dogs and just let them sniff. And there's no pressure to train or do anything like that. So I really do like those, or I'll just take them to a soccer field, throw a couple of Frisbees while my other dogs kind of just sun themselves. I love doing that. That's something out of the home, but pressure free is something I really like to do. It's good for my brain too.
Yeah, I absolutely love doing that too. I mean, I've been a little bit not getting out of the house as much lately, but one of our favorite things to do was going out on hikes. But we do also just love our outside time. And I mean, I don't have a very big backyard, but just getting out in the yard with my dogs, tossing the Frisbee a couple of times, we'll just sit out there together. And sometimes I'll just lay in the grass and they all want to lay on top of me. And just those little moments, they don't have to be these big outings that going hiking or these big training things. Sometimes it's nice to just sit and enjoy the moment with my dogs. And I have found that when I take them to a park or when I go somewhere, my favorite moment of taking them out is usually just sitting in the grass and just taking it all in. And I try to take those little memory, Polaroids.
Yes.
And those little moments just usually mean so much to me. And those have been some of the best memories I have of just sitting and hanging with my dog. Sometimes I'll bring a hammock and I'll set up a hammock and just sit and relax with them and have a moment, just kind of take it all in.
And I think another thing, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
You're good.
I think also you and I can both agree that, we can prepare our dogs to kind of understand the days we're not going to be doing a lot of exciting things. Sometimes I'll just have a cue, we're staying home, boys, staying home. I'll use words that they are versus we're going out, we're going to go for a walk, and just kind of help them understand what I'm doing around the house. If it's a day we're all going to be going around and crazy, or if we're going to be staying at home, I kind of develop some cues to help them maybe understand. I think it's just something that you can find what you really enjoy to do with your dog. But, I would say my special outings is definitely being in nature, getting away from the phone and the craziness and just being in the moment with your pet.
Absolutely. And one other thing I like to do, which kind of helps with having multiple dogs, is my husband and I love to go out to lunch or out to dinner sometimes, or even out to breakfast, depending on our schedules. And we will go and specifically take one dog, and that's our time with that dog for the day. So they get that one-on-one time. And that's been really helpful because, of course, when they come, they get spoiled and they get lots of treats. So that's a special little outing I like to do with them one-on-one, so they're not always doing things all together. But that was a great question. I know we have a few other questions to dive into as well.
We do. Our next one is Tim. Our next question is from Tim in Portland. I've always been curious about how different breeds have different temperaments and needs. How did you choose your own dogs, and what breed specific quirks have you had to adapt to? That is such a good question.
Oh yeah, and I know you have mostly herding breeds. I have
I
a whole
do.
assortment. I have a whole assortment of breeds in
You
my
do.
house.
I started with a mutt and then I was like, I love the herdy ones. And I
Yeah.
think it's because we're most related in brain power. So like kind of like all over the place and OCD in certain ways. And I chose, and to be honest, I don't have a lot of rescues. I have one, but my other ones all came from breeders. And kind of my reason is that we do career-based work there. So I needed dogs that not only could be great family dogs, but could also go out and perform those live shows that we like to do and need to do together.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing to think about is like the breed tendencies. If you adopt a mutt, you really don't know what you're getting.
Oh, yeah, I know. But Oakley's perfect.
Oakley is amazing. And I actually adopted him because I met him and his personality was just what I needed, which was like that goofy, easygoing, like nothing really bothers him kind of dog. And there are some things that you have to think about. So like my first dog is like a herding mix. He's actually got like a ton of stuff. He's got boxer and pit bull in him too. Who would ever guess? But he looks like an Australian Shepherd, and he does have some of those herding tendencies that I have to be more aware of, which is like more sensitive to sound, more sensitive to movement. He's very in tune with me and my emotions, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing. So I have to kind of like navigate that. And where my other dogs, I have another mutt, which I talked about, Oakley, and my third dog is a retriever. Now, she's a type of retriever that's not like golden retrievers and not like labs. She's actually kind of personality somewhere between a herding dog and a retriever. And so kind of adapting my life to that is, again, a little bit more of a sensitive dog. But my dog, her tendency to also go after animals and try to kill them
Oh my gosh, yes.
quite insane. She'll spend hours and hours outside trying to kill chipmunks. And so that's something that I have to work around.
You're
and
not
that's something
kidding.
that her breed is really, tends to be like that. But
it's understanding the exercise needs and what you're bringing into your home and your expectations of the dog you bring into your home is going to be some of the biggest defining factors. And if you are adopting, usually you can speak to someone there who has noticed already tendencies or ways of that dog that they're seeing in that facility.
Yeah, so definitely like ask people who have experience with the breed, their energy requirements and what their tendencies tend to be so that you can kind of prepare yourself a little bit more if you're looking into a specific breed.
That's right. Well, thank you for such a good question, Tim. I really like that one because we could go on and on. We could have an whole episode about that one.
All right, our last question is from Sophia from Los Angeles. She says, I've been reading about the importance of gut health in humans, and it got me wondering about probiotics for dogs. Do you think they're beneficial? And if so, how do you incorporate them into your dog's diets? Well, I know Chrissy has a lot of gut-related issues with one of her dogs that she's dealt with. So I will let her kind of take the brunt of this, but I want to say, which I'm sure she'll say as well, I think the most important thing is before introducing something like a probiotic, make sure you're talking to your vet and finding out what's best for your dog because every single dog is so different. I do use a probiotic for my dogs. It's from the Native Pet. It's just a natural supplement, but I do this under like making sure my vet is aware of the supplements that I'm using and making sure that, we're keeping tabs on that. So I'm not just adding things randomly to the diet. But Chrissy, take this away. I know you have a gut-filled dog.
Oh my God. I'll try to keep this to a minimum because I have like a few dogs in my crew that deal with it. One thing that I always keep on hand, I actually grabbed it so you could see it. It's called Proviable. You get it from the vet. I'm plugging right here. It comes with a paste and capsules. And so I do the capsules for my dogs sometimes when we're on travel just to help them kind of stay in line with gut health as stress and things kind of change their gut because of stress that can happen. And another thing that I like to do for my dogs is I use Rogue. That's another supplement that I'm really passionate about. It's called Rogue Pet Science, and they do like all sorts of gut health based supplements. And it does have probiotics, fish oils, like the whole gamut. And I've had my dogs on that for years. And I honestly, my one dog who lives off of prednisone because he has an autoimmune issue, which creates gut problems and biome issues. Like he is so much better off since being on that. And so I do find that like when you find what's right for your dog and you stick with it, that's something that I like wouldn't change too much or go crazy, but it is great to influence some good probiotics into their diet once in a while. So I sometimes like once a month will use a couple capsules just to kind of give them that boost, just like you would do for yourself. And that's just something that I'm really passionate about. And I love the Proviable because it comes with a paste. And if your dog is having loose stool because of there being a change in their gut, that paste is meant with probiotics inside. It's also meant to bind the stool. So you're going to find that like you can also help your dog get through some of those hurdles if you've been traveling or they pick something up or something like that.
Yeah, it's so great to know. I think it's really good to have a good probiotic on hand, absolutely. And of course, under the guidance of your vet. I love the supplement that I use, and I know Chrissy likes the ones she uses as well.
Yes, for sure. That's a great question, but go to your vet if you're not sure, because I want to make sure that you're doing what's right for your dog. If your dog has any dietary issues or allergies, these are things you want to be sure you consult with your vet first.
Right, absolutely. Well, we had some amazing questions. Guys, don't forget you can send us questions to dogtv.com/thedogmoms. We absolutely love to hear from you guys. But this wraps up the end of our episode today.
I'm always sad to see it go.
I know. We've got such a great episode, and I'm so excited we got to talk to Melissa and learn more about the little Pink Piglet puppy.
Yes. And so thank you so much, Melissa, for talking with us. And we had a great time. And be sure to follow her on her social media accounts and look forward to following the Dog Mom. So be sure to follow us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the areas that you can hear us.
And don't forget, if you guys like this episode, please leave us a review and subscribe to the podcast. We benefit from your reviews so that more people can hear our podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media as well for more updates and content. And don't forget, check out the website, dogtv.com/thedogmoms for more information, resources, and all the things dog mom related.
And until next time, we want you to stay positive and have a wonderful day with your furry friends. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Double-handed wave.
Dog moms, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?